Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite Priestess Mystery School, Venus Visions. And in today's lesson or course or class, I'm so excited to introduce to you a divine feminine goddess, an archetype that I love so much that I've been wanting to bring out and introduce to this channel for a really long time, but I knew it would happen when the time is right, which is a divine feminine goddess of the womb healing, music, literally the essence of feminine energy, dance, music, honey, mirrors, knowing thyself, which is the ancient Egyptian Kemetic's whole point of, why should we even know all this stuff, right? Their whole point, if it can be summarized into two things, I always say, is know thyself, and as above, so below, as within, so without. And with no further ado, I would like to bring in the divine feminine goddess of love herself, Oshun. Da, 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 da. I'm so excited. So I'm going to do the project. Well, we're starting a project, and this is the first video. And the first video is basically an introduction to love. What is love? See, that's a tricky question because no one has the answer. And even if they try, love is something that is not meant to be, there's no logic for it, just like Oshun, and because it's supposed to be felt, and the moment you try to grasp it like water, because Oshun is also connected to the rivers, the sweet waters, not just the waters of the womb, as above so below, as within so without. And excuse me, she's kind of like, when I do speak and give you guys these lessons, I feel like these energies. But anyways, Oshun has been something that's been part of me since I was a little girl. But I don't want to get too crazy with my rambling, because I tend to do that, and I can keep going and talk and jump from subject to another. So I did organize today and do a little script and make everything correct, just to make sure I don't ramble and make sure I get my points across and things I do want to say. So if you do see me looking down this way, just know I'm looking at my notes. And all this stuff I just said right now is not part of my notes. So this is why I have notes. But yeah, Oshun is the goddess of love. Her archetype, specifically the word Oshun and the name Oshun, is from the Western African Yoruba traditions, but she's also venerated and also worshipped in different cultures, different traditions, different religions, from South America to all over the world. But also her name is not just Oshun. In different parts of the world, including my own country where I'm from, in North Africa, they have different names for her. So you might have heard of Aphrodite, you might have heard of Lakshmi, and even Parvati, or Lalita Tripura Sundari, North Africa, La Lemira, even Hecate, even Kalima, right? Anything that has to do with the womb mysteries, okay? So, yes, Oshun is love. She is love. She is the pleasure. She is the sweetness of life. And no, I know they like to paint Oshun or Aphrodite as just, the one that's just looking at, and how can I forget Heteru, Hathor? That's where I took this mirror to her temple in Dendera, which is the most mysterious temple still standing today. Even scientists today still very much fascinated and still trying to figure out what's going on with that temple. But anyways, on my visit there, that was one of the stops we stopped at, which is the temple of Dendera, which is dedicated to the divine feminine goddess of the womb, Hathor. The Romans call her Hathor. Her ancient Kemetic name, so we think, is Het-Heru, which means, if you guys watched the video I made on her a while ago, when I first started this channel, maybe I should do an updated video, but her name means the house of Heru, which is the divine masculine, right? So love, the womb, and they come into this divine union, so they kind of balance each other out. But anyways, so a lot of people would say, in culture and movies, the Matrix sets children, the chaos ones, the ones that are against the divine feminine, right? They always have this this programming or this reputation, if you will, out there, whether it's in music or it's hitting in plain sight in songs and whatever, is that Aphrodite is just, superficial, and all she cares about, and she's just a dumb girl, and all she cares about is how she looks. But actually the mirror is a very sacred tool because it represents knowing thyself. And so when she looks, she can see as a human us, because Oshun is not a human, we can see our physical self. And so to those who are asleep and they can't see, when they see, all they see is themselves physically, their face, their nose, their eyes, and everyone else who's observing them seeing themselves. That's also who they see. Oops, sorry. That's all Oshun energy. By the way, Virgo season is coming up and it's Leo season, and I was born on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. Oh my goodness. So, and she's connected to that as well because Virgo is also the Virgin Mother, and you know, not just Beyonce and Michael Jackson and me, but Kobe Bryant, who was born on my birthday, and Zendaya and Blake Lively and all these other people. But Virgo is the high priestess of the zodiac sign. Don't believe everything you read online, but also the Virgin Mother that you know, it's also her season, because in the Nile would flood, it would give birth around this time, and so people would celebrate in September during Virgo season in those areas, because the Nile was responsible for feeding a lot of people in Africa. And by the way, this is not in my notes either, but who cares? And so when I went to Nigeria my second time, and I went for another wedding, and I said, this time I have to go to the Oshun Osogbo river or sacred site. So there's a sacred site in Nigeria, and it's actually a UNESCO site, and there they have, you know, it's like 500 years old. They have this castle there. It's a forest, and it is a beautiful river, right? But people have been holding celebrations and just visiting that area specifically for the divine feminine, for Oshun, which is, again, her counterpart in Egypt is Het-Heru Hathor, and like I said, Mira in North Africa. And by the way, on my way to the Dendera temple, you know, we were on a bus. One of the songs that I kept listening to was a Gnawa song, and in Morocco, a lot of the spiritual stuff was hitting in these music, which is interesting because she's connected to songs and music. But throughout the years, when it became kind of like confusing and people were using this stuff for bad and to hurt each other, and it was dangerous to talk about this stuff, the Gnawa, North African, Moroccan ancestors hid it in the songs. And so one of the songs I kept listening to on the way there was the modern day Lele Mira song by my brother, or I call him my brother now. I didn't know him at the time, Mehdi Qamoum. And in that song, this is the first time in my life I've ever heard him say Oshun. And you know, as he's singing about Mira, but he also is saying Oshun's name, and then he says Het-Heru. And so I've been obsessed with that song since. And even in Egypt, I was like showing the other girls, I'm like, hey, we have her too. Why I say that is because when I learned about her and all the other Orishas, I kind of stayed away, because I was like, you know, I can learn about something, I'm very curious, but I'm not going to jump into something that's going to hurt me. And I've heard stories of different kinds of stories about like, hey, this is not your culture, don't mess with our spirits. And so I just assumed she was just a spirit, or some people call her a demon. And this is the same thing with my culture as well. What I come to realize is that the Oshun I'm talking about is different than some of those people. And see, those people think, some people, they think like Mira in Morocco, they think they're venerating the same energy, but really they're probably talking to some demons or some spirits, right, that call themselves the same name. And so they're very smart and tricky. And so they can play humans, because humans are egotistical babies. But the Oshun I'm talking about, and so I was scared, right? I was like, I can't talk about Oshun, this is not my culture. I'm just gonna appreciate her from far away. I'm not gonna be like, I'm a child of Oshun, blah blah blah. And when my mom passed away January 5th, which Oshun's number is number 5, which means change, and she's connected to snakes as well. After that, all of a sudden we had these sunflowers just grow, and it was around the time that I kept feeling Oshun's energy around me, and I was just pushing it away. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get cursed and get in trouble. And this was before I knew this crazy story that happened to this white lady that had a famous story, by the way. She has, there's like a books about her and all this stuff. I didn't know about this until I went to Nigeria and I was told about this. And I know I sound like I'm rambling, but I'm getting there. I'm gonna put it all together. So, see, I was gonna put it all together and then I forgot what I was talking about. But But yeah, I was just scared to disrespect that before I knew like that was a thing, because this lady who did disrespect her, and she was actually, people believe that she was a venerating Oshun. And so, and even me, I was like, I don't want to defend people. I don't want to defend the Yoruba tribe. I don't want to defend my Nigerian friends, offend them. And I feel like I still did offend them, but she still kept showing up loudly, and I heard her like loudly. And so when the sunflowers grew, and by the way, my mom was like obsessed with honey all her life, and I didn't care too much about it, but after she passed out, all of a sudden I love honey. And I have a sweet tooth. I mean, I have all these cavities now all of a sudden, which I never had before. And it's because of my sweet tooth. But anyhow, so to put it all back together, when I finished that, on my way to the Heteru Dendera temple, I was listening to this Gnawa song about Lele Mira, thinking it's a different energy, but he mentioned Heteru. And then when I went to Nigeria, on my way to, so I didn't plan it, right? I was like, I have to go, but I didn't plan it. When I got there, I was like, oh, I guess I didn't plan it, whatever, it didn't happen. After the first wedding, things just happen in the most mysterious, magical way, as it always does when I go to these sacred places. They literally pull me there, and then I find out about the history and the energy and the meaning afterwards. Somehow I found myself there, and what day did I end up going? It was August 5th, and it was a Monday, 5th. And August, that week, is her annual celebration in Nigeria. And mind you, the city I was at was Lagos. Lagos is about 7-hour drive from Oshun State. Oshun State is another state. So Lagos is in what they call Yoruba State, right? Is it Yoruba land? It's like the state, that's the name of the state. And then Oshun Osogbo is the name of the sacred area. The UNESCO protected site is in, it's about 7 hours. It's Oshun State. But somehow things made it happen. Things just fell into place, and I ended up, my friend's driver took care of me and took care of everything. And he's someone that her family, he's been with her family for years, older man, super respectful. And it was just amazing. He took me there, and again, all of my friends there, and even my friend's uncle, they're like, don't go, there's a lot of kidnapping and stuff happening. But I went. Same thing happened to me in Ethiopia, funny enough, when I was going to Queen of Sheba's place. And I didn't think I was going to Queen of Sheba's place. I was just going to something, the lowest and the hottest place on earth, Danakil Depression. And before you go there, you literally have to fly to a place that it turns out that's the same mountains that Queen of Sheba, again, the divine feminine, they're all connected, and King Solomon once walked. And so that night, so I said all of this to circle it back to what? The Nile River, because I think I started talking about the Nile River early on, so maybe you guys can go all the way back and then remind me in the comments why it wasn't the Nile River. But what I was trying to say is that night after the Oshun visit, and that was a whole magical visit, and I can explain that to you guys too if you want, and explain how the day went. It was magical. And when I went there, that's when I learned about that Australian lady who was actually an Oshun priestess, so she called herself. Like, she was in the Yoruba religion. And by the way, when I speak of Oshun, I'm not talking about from the eyes of any religion, and just same thing with Heteru. I'm not talking about from the Kemetic religion, or even Kali. I'm not talking about from the Hindu religion. So I just want to say that there is a spiritual, divine, feminine, hidden path that's been hidden for years now. That's now it's safer to come out, and that's what I'm talking about. And this path studies all these different archetypes and tries to find a thread throughout times and history and different times, and connect them to ourselves and to God, and trying to see the truth, because the truth will always be the same everywhere, right? No matter what time period or nothing. If it's the truth, if you say the sky is blue and say we can't see, we're all blind, if you find in the Hindus 100,000 years ago said it, and then somebody five years ago wrote a book about it, and then this other people, and they all said the sky is blue, then guess what? The sky is blue. So that's my whole point of studying all of this, and why we divine feminine study all this. So when we speak about Oshun, she is also there in the divine feminine path, and I didn't think she was. I was very afraid, because I keep hearing all these stories like, stay away from Oshun, you have to be priestess, you have to be initiated, you need a babalao, you need this, and no, I'm not talking about that, and I respect all of that, but I'm here talking about, guess what? Oshun showed up herself to this area, this path that we're talking about, which is the womb, the honey, the sweetness of life, the creativity, the dance, the craziness, the no logic. She looks crazy to the regular person. She might be angry sometimes too, don't get it twisted. Anyway, so the intro of this video, the whole point of this video, the whole intro. So yeah, all I wrote here, all roads of love lead to know thyself. And so yeah, the whole point of this video, of this intro, is because the project I'm doing now is called 33 Lemons, and I hope you guys can see the yellow stuff. I hope you guys can watch all my stuff, all my 33 videos. So I've been given 33 lemons, and I would love to make lemonade with you guys. Speaking of lemonade, that was the very first concert I've ever been to. I used to love Beyonce, the Virgo, and that was 10 years ago. Can you believe it? And Khaleesi, my friend who has a picture of me and him on Instagram, we went as a group. He wrote down Moroccan Khaleesi. And it's funny because Beyonce called herself Khaleesi. I saw a video of her calling herself Khaleesi. But Beyonce, a lot of people talk about Oshun and Beyonce, and specifically the song Hold Up and Lemonade, right? And recently I found myself watching Lemonade again, and my head is like, poo, poo, poo. I mean, it is high level alchemy from love just, and it's not about cheating. It is kind of, but it's not just about that. Ultimately, what it's about is freedom of the priestess. And the song Freedom, when she has a video clip of Freedom on YouTube, at the end, that's when she has the experts of her grandmother saying, I was given lemons, but I made lemonade. And song Freedom, to some people, see, that's the thing about art. Anyone can interpret it in different ways, and it depends on your level of evolvement. And the more you evolve, you see things in a different way. That's when you know it's high level creation, high level art. And so I'm blown away by Lemonade. So I'm here thinking Lemonade is just her blueprint that she took 10 years ago from her husband who cheated on her, and as a result took that pain, made it into something that made her money. And even 10 years now, she's still using Lemonade, the blueprint. The country came from Daddy Lessons from Lemonade. I swear to you, trust me. I know divine feminine priestesses that do this in their priestess school, and they actually offer, classes in priestess schools where they have written a book that was so good and so successful, and then they create this school, and then I realized that every chapter is a course in the school, and now that makes them, millions and millions of dollars. Yes, girl. And that's what Lemonade is. Lemonade is literally her blueprint, and I feel like her next album is going to be a rock album. So the 33 Lemons, part of it is going to be me deciphering Lemonade, because I love art and I love music as a Virgo. And so Lemonade did not just come with the songs, but it came with poetry, and we love words, the throat chakra, Thoth, Jehuti, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. She has poems and she has chapters, and it's an alchemical process. And I think she thought the process was going to be to heal the wound of cheating, but it really was about knowing herself. And then after the song Freedom, what comes after that is the song, it's almost like she's thanking him, like, she says, you are the magician, so pull me back together the way you ripped me apart, right? Like, she's letting him know, like, it's because of you led me here. So like why I wrote here, all love roads lead to knowing thyself, because love does open the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is the way to know thyself. So even depression, right, when you're depressed and you're so bad, because it breaks your heart open, it will help you lead yourself if you do it right. And the same thing with love, because a lot of people think love is just beautiful and romantic and it's positive and it's supposed to be like this thing, right? But that's not true. Love is, first of all, like I said, I can't really tell you what love is because nobody knows. But we do know it's the most powerful energy in the universe. We do know a lot of things about love. And I have to keep moving this because I don't know why this thing wants to do that. I want to make sure my audio is working. it's the most powerful energy in the world, but it can be dangerous. Yes, it has shadow aspects. Yes, everybody sees it differently. So do not ever try to. I hate when people online or whatever, you read these things like love is this and this is not love and that's. It's like, no, what if love is all of those things and none of those things? It can be dangerous in the fact that, like, say a mother loves her son so unconditional, so much that she's willing to let him make all these mistakes and do all these things that are ultimately bad for him, but because she loves him, she's literally unable to, like, hold boundaries, right? Because sometimes you need tough love. Beyonce had a song called tough about that, where she's like, tough love the world, and it's not in Lemonade. The world, something like that. I really like that song too. I've been listening to it recently. But anyways, I watched the Lemonade film, if you will, the last couple of weeks, and just been going through it, and it's helped me with my own process, with my own daddy issues, my own healing with my own father. But now I'm at the stage where it's like it's helping me. I found freedom, right, as a priestess, and so that's why I want to come up with this creative project, 33 Lemons. And part of it, the beginning, and it's not all gonna be like Beyonce videos, by the way, but yeah, the beginning form, I want to, because the stuff I have, oh my god, it's so good, it's so juicy, it's so honey, honey, honey. And so her cheating pain led her to freedom. So all love ultimately will lead, even though the ones that hurt so much, if you know how, if you are the alchemist, like her, and her husband, who she's like, you are the magician, right? And her grandmother, and so after that, there's like love and then reconciliation. So every song and every poem comes with its own chapter, its own title, and it's just beautiful. So let's see what I have here. So yeah, I was there. She even says, like, in the videos, in the sorry, she's like, I am the dragon breathing fire. I forgot all about that part, because I haven't watched Lemonade or listened to the songs in years, and now that I'm listening and watching, I'm like blown away. Like, how did I not? Because I know all the words, I know all the lyrics, I love the concert. I've been to 3 other concerts of hers ever since, including Renaissance, and that was the last one. After Renaissance, I was like, I got turned off by her. I don't know why, but now that I rewatched Lemonade, I'm like, she's a freaking master. Either that, or like spirit just works through her. Oshun worked through her naturally, because I heard, or they said, that a lot of the songs, there was other people that wrote the songs, but that means if she's the creative director, that she knew exactly which poems and songs to pick, and they are so perfect. I doubt it. I think she helped write some of this stuff too. I don't think what the media is trying to put her as, because it's high level stuff. High level stuff. So I'm so excited to start with that, and I'm excited to see how it's going to help me evolve too, with my own relationship with love and intimacy, and because that's something I'm calling back into my life. That's something I had to learn about too, and there are stories about Oshun, and all the African stories, by the way, are metaphors for our own stuff. There are stories about Oshun where she loved the wrong king, and he was a king too, right? He was an Orisha just like her, but he wasn't the right one for her. But they loved each other, and they try to make it work, and as a result, they become so poor, and he was cheating on her, and she was unhappy, resentful, and she didn't realize that. And actually, Oshun's color is not yellow. Her real color is white. And because they were so poor, and it was just like a bad thing, a bad vibe, or bad life, she would go to the river every day and like wash her white clothes in the river, and that's how they turned yellow. Which is funny, because when I went to visit her river, I wore something that it kind of looked like, it wasn't yellow, but I'll show you guys, I'll post stuff. And I only wore that because that's the same thing I wore to the Isis, which is Aset, the Virgin Mother's temple in Egypt. So I know. And this I wore to, this necklace I wore to Heteru temple in Dendera in Egypt. So I know these things, like, they held the energy, or even if they don't, the fact that they remind me of those places, they take me immediately there. They take me there mentally and then vibrationally. That means they do hold the energy. So when we say these things are charged and they hold the energy, sometimes we don't mean physically, We're masters of life. So let's see. I think that's all I wrote. So yeah, Beyonce's Lemonade equals an alchemical work of Oshun. Whether Beyonce is aware of all of it, I'm not sure. Because even now, when I post something that's like of what I like to call like mastery, when I'm in that Oshun state or flow state, where mastery happens naturally, in all of arts, and it doesn't matter what kind of art it is. I don't even realize it sometimes until I go back and I'm like, oh my God, I wrote that. Oh my God, I said that. Have I not been focused the whole time? I'm just trying to get back to this thing, right? I'm trying to find my consistency. And Oshun said, this project, 33 Lemons, is going to get me back in the groove of consistency of being a social media personality, because I did not want to fall back into the whole social media influencer, but I love teaching. It's my favorite thing to do, and I want this to be as a school. And so that's kind of like the mental state I'm starting at. So I see myself as a phoenix now, right? So forget all the Venus vision stuff from before, although it has a lot of information. Pure gold, pure honey. Pure Honey. Beyonce has a song called Pure Honey and Renaissance. And it's funny because in that song, I was just listening to it earlier, she says something that she says in Lemonade all the time. And I'm like, duh, which is, you are the love of my life. Whereas in Lemonade, she was more like questioning him, like, but you are the love of my life. And Pure Honey, the song Pure Honey, I love that song. And Renaissance is one of my favorite albums as well from her. It came at a time when I was grieving my mother. She had just died. I tried to force myself to go back into work in the office, and I hated everyone there. So I would literally just be listening to it. It's such a self-love. Again, love. It's full of love. It's such a loving love and confidence album. So yeah, throat chakra is connected to the womb too, and Het Heru's temple. They do a lot of music stuff. So again, if you want to go watch my Het Heru video, you'll learn more about Dendera and all of that, and how music and sound. That's why, you know, when you have your period, or you know, you moan, you make that sound, or like when there's cramps or whatever. But the sacral chakra or womb area is also responsible for your emotions as well. And so that's why, like, when you hit yourself and you hurt, you're like, you make a noise, or like if you see something and it's exciting, you might say ah, right? So yeah, well, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything before I close out this video. And we're at 28 minutes, so that's fine. So yeah, I wrote she works through her naturally. Lemonade chapters. I spoke about everything I wrote. Funny enough, I didn't even have to look. August 5th was when I was there. When I was there, the place was empty. So I was worried because I'm like, oh, this is her annual celebration week. I didn't even know I would be there. It's such a beautiful day. And on the 5th, and again, it wasn't meant to be that day. That was the perfect day that was free in between weddings, and we were even moving Airbnbs from one place to another, and thank God my friends took care of all of that, because I had to leave super early. Like, the driver came at like 4 in the morning because they were so worried. They're like, you have to leave Oshun stay before lunchtime. We had lunch over there. Oh, so delicious. I still think about it to this day. If I find stuff, I can post it here for you guys. You know, maybe this is how I should be doing my videos, more personal, share more of my experiences about this stuff, how I learn about this stuff, how I try to embody them, and how they show up in my life, rather than just teaching, so you don't think I'm just reading books. No, I'm actually experiencing these things. But we left super early, and my friends took care of all this, my clothes, you know, I packed everything. They moved the Airbnb for me. So this was the only time I had to go, and I made it happen, and it was the most beautiful time ever. And it was a 5 change the same day, you know, the 5th. My mom, you know, she died on the 5th at 5 in the morning. First time I looked at my clock was 5:55 a.m. January 5th. Sunflowers connected to honey, you know, love, all of that, everything I said about Het Heru's video. Oops. Okay, my phone died. I feel like, am I cutting? So I usually see my camera from the screen behind or whatever, but right now we're having some technical difficulties, and I felt Oshun just ready to talk. And so I don't have a masculine energy or a man over here to do all the camera stuff like all my other priestess sisters. So this is who I'm calling into my life, because they take care of all the logic stuff and the business stuff and the websites and the photos and the videos and the audio, camera, action. So that all the sisters have to do is be beautiful and come and allow the stuff to go through her. I hate all the logic stuff. So because I didn't want to deal with that, what was I saying before the camera cut? Yes, let's see. Heart chakra. So it's not just the sacral and the throat chakra. Again, triple goddess. It's the womb, the sacral chakra, the heart chakra, love, and the throat chakra, how we express ourselves. Because words are the manifestations of inner thoughts and inner words are instant manifestations that we do every time. And that's why they say you create your life by speaking, literally. And so I speak in my divine husband right now. I speak in a beautiful priestess divine temple, Venus vision, for it would be successful and full of knowledge and wisdom, where it could be full of a place that, people of all walks of life, and not just people, aliens too, they can come and just be and learn and evolve and whatever they used to do in the temples back in the day. So yeah, Dendera, Mira, Gnawa music, womb, Kali, I said all that. August is her month. Like me, I was born in August actually. It's almost my birthday, August 23, Kobe Bryant's twin. I said my mom died on the 5th. One of the girls that was with us in Nigeria, she was part of the wedding. She lives in the U.S., but I never met her in the U.S. I met her in Nigeria. Her father was buried the same day as my mom, and he was buried there in Nigeria, and we had a whole talk, and we didn't even know, I didn't even know, but she was the only one who I felt comfortable, opening up about spirituality, because besides my friend who knows me, some of the girls at the second wedding, because I was there for 2 weddings, I didn't realize, and I knew some of them in the US, some of them are engineers, some of them went to school with me, but there's still a lot of shadow programming from the churches, specifically in West Africa, because a lot of churches, and even they say it themselves, right? A lot of the Christian churches are scammers, basically, and so they need people to believe this mentality and programming of whatever it is that each church does, so that they are loyal to them and only them. And so one thing they have, and they were freaking out about, was me mentioning this whole Oshun thing. And so again, I was being almost like shamed, and like they were scared of me. But good thing that I wasn't Nigerian, so they weren't treating me as bad. They're probably like, oh, this white girl, whatever. They don't know Lele Mira in North Africa's there. But yeah, in Oshun Osobo, the Australian lady, she was there, and she was in the religion, right? And they all trusted her, they loved her. The Nigerians almost worshipped her, which is funny because I'm like, I'm African, what's going on? But what did she end up doing? She made a huge mistake, and there's books about this, and all of them, the whole Nigeria knows about her story, probably the whole West Africa. And she's tried to take something from this place, the river, like a statue or something, and she took it back to Australia. And then as a result, she got divorced. She was forced to live in Oshun. It's like she pulled her. They said they call it, she took her. She lived in that village area. Her kids left her. Her whole life was just crazy. I mean, she was a dog. I think she was a doctor. Her story's online. Look it up. But basically, in the end, is that she tried to take something, and then Oshun ended up taking her, and then she brought whatever it is she tried to take there. And so when I was there, some of the people inside the place, they're telling the guy that was with me, because he was besides the driver, you don't have to, but you should get a tour guide and who's gonna teach you about all this stuff, because there's a lot of statues, a lot of history, a lot of stuff in the forest. And my driver was trying to be cheap too. Don't ever be cheap with Oshun stuff, because she is abundant. She is, and even at the gate, when we were just entering, he was, I think because he thought they were trying to charge me a lot of money because I was a tourist person, and she was trying to explain, no, you need to be, only Nigerians get a specific price, which makes sense. That's how it is in Egypt. That's how it is in all over the world. If you're local, you get specific price. Otherwise, it's whatever. And he was like negotiating with her, and I like stopped him because that's a big disrespectful thing to do in spirituality specifically, especially I'm at the gates of the divine feminine of abundance, of money, of wealth. And it's the same thing in Morocco. That's what La Mira is known for, not just beauty and sensuality, sexuality, but also money. And so I was like even offended, and then I told her, I was like, I'm from Africa. And when I said I said I was from Africa first because I thought she was trying to tell him like she has to be African, because I'm African. And then when I heard about the price and I stopped him, I was like, it's fine, give her whatever she asked, because he was gonna pay her everything and then I would pay him. So my friend's uncle they took care of everything because they're scared of kidnappers or whatever. So he's gonna pay all the stuff throughout the day, and then I gave my friend Ala her cash. So I was like, whatever she wants, just give it to her. I don't care what she asked for. And when I was like, no, when I stopped him, that's when her mood immediately changed, almost like she recognized me, and like she was, even when I left, when I was leaving, she treated me much different. But inside, and so we also got a tourist guide, and the one we got is actually a doctor. Like, he has a PhD in this stuff and in African spirituality. His English is amazing. And then I was like, yeah, let's get him. The driver's like, no, I can just tell you everything. And then at the end of the tour, he's like, I'm so glad we got him. We learned so much. And I'm like, bro, come on. That guy was chef's kiss. So that was kind of a little bit about my story of what happened there. There's a lot of snakes. Oh, and the oldest they call it the oldest market in West Africa is there. Well, now it's a spiritual market, but that's there too, which is funny because markets, business, money, and Africa is known for markets. When I went to Ethiopia, they have currently the biggest market in all of Africa, and I just realized that, wow, I actually went to the real biggest market, physical market in this day and age in Ethiopia, but I also visited the spiritual biggest, most important market in Africa. And in Morocco too, we're known for souks and markets. Markets were kind of like before malls and businesses and online and just buying stuff from each other. That was the place that people made money. That was the place that people exchanged, whether it's food, whether it's the market was the place that you got to know each other. The souk, the market. Money. So she's with all of that, and so that's another thing I'm calling in a business like this beautiful priestess Venus Vision Temple, where we can evolve into more than just videos, and to being more, I don't want to talk too much because Oshun's like, whenever you talk, you just talk, so don't talk, okay? Ooh, I'm so sorry, this thing keeps slipping. This thing has never slipped. What is going on? Whenever you talk, you talk. So don't talk, just do, okay? So anyway, so yes, I wrote here snakes, because snakes are connected with change, Snake is always letting go of its skin, letting go of the old. So anyways, guys, I think that is it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or anything you want to share regarding love, sexuality, sensuality, Oshun, or whatever it is, Venus, by the Venus, of course, is Oshun. The planet Venus is love, connected to Friday. Then please do write that below, subscribe. Let's build this channel. It really does help me a lot. And I'm excited for 33 lemons. So now we got 31 left. 31. What is wrong with me? I studied engineering, and I always say this. I'm like, I don't know how I did that, but I'm an engineer, and I don't know basic math. But give me a calculator, and I'm good. I know all the other math that came after, differential equations, the ones that don't have any numbers. Literally, differential equations is the worst course I ever took in my life. I still don't get it. What was that about? Anyway. Yes, 33 lemons. Now we got 32 left. Bye.